Hello and welcome to Nana's Crafty Home. My name is Tanya. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to crochet the bunny hop stitch that I used for my bunny hop headband and my bunny hop basket. Let's go ahead and get started. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using 2 colors of a medium worsted number 4 weight acrylic yarn, and I'm going to be using the Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn brand, but you can use any weight, worsted weight, or other that you choose. To get started, we're going to get our yarn on our hook here. This stitch is worked in multiples of 6 plus 7. So for my sample, I'm going to be chaining a total of 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 22, 23, 24, 25. For row 1, I'm going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 4th chain, work a double crochet, and then work a double crochet in every chain to the end. Double crochet in that final chain. I'm going to fasten off that color. I'm going to turn. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the bunny color that I'm using to the first stitch. And you could, since this is the wrong side, I'm working on the wrong side for this row, you could go ahead and attach it on the back loop only so this pink won't show on the front side of my work. You could just go ahead and slip stitch to join. Now I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to skip the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that next stitch, I'm going to work a cluster. And a cluster is going to be a bobble, chain 1, bobble, all worked in that same stitch. And a bobble is going to be yarning over, inserting my hook into that stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2 loops on the hook, yarning over, inserting my hook into that same stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, insert my hook into that same stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I've got 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on my hook, chain 1, and work a bobble, the same bobble in that same stitch. Yarning over, inserting my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops on my hook. So I've just completed a cluster in that stitch. I'm now going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and repeat cluster in that next stitch. So bobble, chain 1, bobble, all worked in that same stitch. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip the next 5, and repeat. And you're going to be repeating that to your last 5 stitches. So I'm at my last 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in my last stitch, which is the top of those skip chains from the beginning, I'm going to slip stitch. And again, I'm going to keep that to the back of my work to keep that pink from showing on the right side of my work. And slip stitch, fasten off your bunny color, and turn. So I'm back to the right side of my work, and I'm going to go ahead and join my main color, my cream, to the first stitch, and I'm going to join it in the first stitch, the top of those skip chains, with a slip stitch. And now I'm going to chain 3. The chain 3 at the beginning of each row is going to count as my first stitch. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to be working in those skipped stitches from the previous row. So I skipped all of these double crochet stitches, and I'm going to be working double crochet stitches into those skipped stitches, and I'm going to be working them in front of these chains because this is the right side of my work, and that will keep these chains on the wrong side of my work. A double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and if it helps, you can just push those chains down and out of your way. So just work a double crochet in the next 4 stitches. And now I have that cluster from the previous row. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to skip over that cluster, and I'm going to double crochet in the next 5 stitches that I skipped from the previous row. So the biggest thing here is just to make sure you don't miss any of your stitches because that cluster is going to take up a lot of space. Just make sure that you're working a double crochet in each of those 5 skipped stitches. And then repeat. Chain 1, skip over the cluster, double crochet in the next 5 skipped stitches from the previous row. And you're just going to repeat that to the end. Chain 1, skip, and then you've got your last 5 stitches at the end of the row. Work a double crochet in each of those 5 stitches. Now what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be placing a stitch marker into this stitch. I don't want to fasten off this color because I'm going to be pulling it back into my work. Place a stitch marker in that loop, and now we'll be able to pull that back into our work later. I'm going to go ahead and turn. I'm going to push these clusters from the wrong side to the front side, the right side. Just push those through that chain 1 space. And now you can see those clusters are pushed through to the right side of my work. I'm going to join my pink to my first stitch again. And I'm going to do that by slip stitching into that back loop to keep it on the back side of my work. And now I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to skip the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm into that chain 1 space and that cluster that's been pushed through to the front side. And remember that cluster is a bobble, a chain 1, and a bobble. So I'm going to be working a large bobble into that chain 1 space between those 2 small bobbles there, under the chain 1 from that previous row. So I'm going to start a bobble by yarning over, and I'm going to insert my hook under the chain 1 and into that chain 1 space of my cluster. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook into that same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. This is where I stopped with my small bobble, but I'm going to do one more, yarn over, insert my hook into that same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You now have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on your hook. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skip over the next 5 stitches, and we're going to repeat that, working underneath the chain 1 from this previous row and into the chain 1 of that cluster. So repeat. Chain 6, skip the next 5, and repeat. If it helps, you can find that chain 1 space between the small bobbles with your middle finger and your thumb and hold it open so it's easier to find that space. So I've worked my last large bobble and I've got 5 stitches left. I'm going to chain 6, skip over the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the last stitch, and I'm working that into the back of that top of that chain 3. And again, I'm going to fasten off that bunny color, and I'm not going to turn. I have my main color, my cream here. Remember, I kept that stitch marker in that loop to hold it. I'm going to remove that stitch marker and insert my hook back into my loop from that first stitch, and I'm going to pick it back up, working on the wrong side. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to be working behind those chains because this is the front side, the right side of my work. I want those chains on the wrong side of my work, so they need to be on this side. So I'm going to be pulling those down because I'm going to be working a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. And so you can see by working behind the chains, it kept those chains on the wrong side of my work. I'm at my large bobble, so I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip over that bobble, and I'm going to double crochet in the next 5 stitches, working behind those chains. And repeat. I'm at the bobble, chain 1, skip over it, double crochet in the next 5, my last bobble, chain 1, skip over it, and double crochet in the last 5 stitches. Again, I'm going to remove my hook from that loop and place my stitch marker in that loop to hold the stitch. I'm not going to turn, and I'm going to push those bobbles through to the right side of my work. So this is the wrong side. You can see all those chains on the back side. This is the front side of that stitch. So everything's poking out to the right side of my work. So now I'm going to be joining my pink again. So I'm going to join my pink to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm working in to the top of this large bobble that I made. I've pushed it to the front through that chain 1 to the front side of my work, the right side of my work, and I'm going to be working into the top of that bobble. So find the stitch that you're going to be working into, which is this one. But just on the top of that bobble is where we're going to be inserting our hook. And so after I've pushed it to the front, I'm not going to be working underneath that chain 1. I'm going to be working in front of that chain 1 and inserting my hook into the stitch of that bobble. So that top stitch is where I'm going to be working my next set of stitches. So after chaining 6, I'm going to be slip stitching into the top of that bobble in front of that chain 1. And in that same stitch, I'm going to be working a slip stitch, picot, slip stitch, picot, slip stitch, all into that same stitch. And you can see that chain 1 is on this side of my bobble. So I've worked my first slip stitch. I'm going to work a picot. A picot is chaining 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip stitch into that third chain from the hook, chain 2, slip stitch back into that same stitch, picot, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into that third chain from the hook, chain 2, slip stitch into the top of that bobble again. and I've just made the ears of my bunny. You can see that from the front side, the right side of my work. So now I'm going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip over those next 5 double crochet stitches and repeat. Push that bobble through to the front side, insert your hook into the top of that bobble in front of the chain 1, slip stitch, Picot, slip stitch into the 3rd chain, chain 2, slip stitch, chain 5, slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook, chain 2, slip stitch into that same stitch, chain 6, skip the next 5, and in that last bobble, push it through to the front side, insert our hook into the top of that bobble, slip stitch, Picot, after you've worked into that last bobble, we're going to chain 6. We're going to skip the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the top of that last stitch to complete that row. So we're going to fasten off our pink. We're going to turn for the next row, and we're going to insert our hook back into that loop that we have our stitch marker in. And we're back on the right side of our fabric, so this row will be another row of double crochet stitches. I'm going to be working in front of my chains for these next 4 stitches. So chain 3, work a double crochet in the next 4 stitches, working in front of those chains, keeping those to the back side of my work. And now, instead of chaining 1 and skipping over those stitches, I'm going to work into that chain 1 space from the previous row. So remember, I worked in front of that chain 1. Now I'm going to work a double crochet into the chain 1. Now I'm going to be working in these stitches here, but I want to work in front of those chains, keeping those to the back of my work. So double crochet in the next 5 stitches, working in front of the chains. The double crochets closest to your bunnies are going to want to hide from you, so just make sure to pull the stitches away from that last double crochet and you don't miss that stitch. So then push those ears forward, find that chain 1 space, work a double crochet into that space, back behind your ears, and then back into the next 5 stitches in front of the chains, a double crochet in each stitch. And that one wants to hide from me there. Then find that chain 1, work a double crochet, and now I've got at my last 5 stitches, working in front of those chains, work a double crochet in the last 5. And that's all there is to it. Look at these cute little bunnies, they're so adorable. Now at this point, what you could do is you could find these little craft pom-poms. They sell these on Amazon. You can find them in craft stores. They're pretty easy to find. I have this bag of multicolors that I picked up, I think at Michael's. And you can, with a little bit of glue, just attach those to your bunny if you want. You could do different colors if you wanted to. That would be a lot of fun. Just glue those on. They won't take a lot of glue. And look how cute that is. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. Thanks so much for being with me. As always, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a new video. Thanks everyone. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.